So you think it's easy being the mayor of New Britain? Well, consider Erin Stewart. She's had quite an eventful first 10 months in office, dealing with serious budget woes, the notorious defection of the city's very popular baseball team. Then, of all things, she took heat from some fellow Republicans for taking a cell phone picture with President Obama while giving a thumbs up. The horrors! What was she thinking?
Who knows, Al? We'll be able to ask her in a second. But it's not polite to talk about a lady's age, but we're going to make an exception here. She was voted into office at 26 years old. Her run, impressive. There are only some 3,300 Republicans in the city out of 34,000 registered voters. Well, we welcome Mayor Erin Stewart to the program. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys? Thanks for having me. Quite the introduction. I think I have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to go
minutes,
through.
So.
But I do want to say some of your accolades here, which are impressive. Okay,
sure.
So we have, you are the youngest mayor in New Britain.
Yeah.
You are the youngest mayor elected in Connecticut, or right now in office in Connecticut.
Yes.
You are the second female elected mayor in New Britain.
You got
and
it.
Tell me what President Obama told you when he visited.
President Obama's staff told me that I'm among the youngest mayors in the entire country right now. They couldn't confirm if I was the youngest female or not, but it remains to be seen. So
Well,
I'm not
right.
digging.
Well, you've been earning your stripes. I mean, coming in with the budget woes that the city of New Britain faced, and to raise taxes by what, double digits?
Unfortunately, about 4 mils. It equates to about 11%. When I took office in November, we were facing an almost $19 million deficit. The city was really staring in the face of not only a state takeover, but bankruptcy. I knew that there was some serious action that had to be taken. It had to be taken quickly, and that didn't come easy. You had to cut downsize government. Unfortunately, you had to eliminate jobs. About 30 positions were eliminated. And the unfortunate reality of having to raise taxes on the residents of New Britain just to make the ends meet with our budget, to bring it to a point where, you know, we can balance. It was so out of balance, and it's a result of mismanagement of finances from the years, couple of years prior. But we're fixing it day by day. We're certainly not going to be out of it in, 2 years, which is how long my term is. It'll take us much longer to get out of it than that, but we were on a really good start.
You sound a little bit like Dan Malloy. With this, he came in with this, and he raised taxes, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to do what you have to do. I mean, the budget I inherited, it was a mess, and I didn't want to raise taxes on the residents of New Britain. It was the reality that I faced, but I like to think it was a good mix of cutting government, downsizing our services, and raising taxes to be able to meet that. I'm not excited to say that I did that by any means, but I think it was just a dose of reality that everybody needed, because I refuse to see the city be taken over by the state or have them take over our finances. They're the last people I'd want to take over my budget.
Talk about the Republican Party right now, and what your beliefs are don't necessarily line up with like a red state Republican per se.
No, I'm a little bit different, I like to say. But when I was running for office, we did something totally different in the city. We had tried to do it in years before. It never really worked. This time, when I was elected, it seemed to. We did what we called a fusion slate. So on the Republican ticket in New Britain, it wasn't all Republicans. We cross-endorsed Democrats, unaffiliated independents. Hell, we even had a libertarian on there too.
Well.
So and for the first time in, gosh, almost 40 years, we took 6 seats on the city council, and 2 are Democrats and 2 are independents. So we like to call ourselves the Rudd Caucus, the Republican Unaffiliated Democrat Caucus.
Rudd?
So it makes it pretty interesting.
Well, talk about the Rockettes. So they made this deal to go to Hartford. Nobody knew anything about it. You didn't know anything. And then, of course, you whacked them with the back taxes.
You are not quiet about that, that's for sure.
And nor should I have been. They owed the city of New Britain money, and rightfully so, and the taxpayers of my city deserved that. Well, it's something, certainly you can't plan for that. I mean, that was a total curveball. Play on words. But it really was. I didn't see that coming at all. So, when you're continually asking the ownership, is this true? I'm hearing rumors. Is it true? No, we love New Britain. We're staying. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching the press conference with everyone else, and my, jaws on the table going, what? But I've repeatedly had tried to work with the ownership to try to, since that announcement, to see if there's anything I can do. What's the problems with the stadium? What are we not doing? Is there anything that I can do to help change your mind? And they've basically told me time and time again, nope, our mind is made up. We're going to pursue our options with Hartford if Hartford builds the stadium. I still believe that's a big if.
No, they're still in New Britain for another year, another season.
They're still with us for another year. They have until March of 2015 to let me know if they intend to stay. They can exercise a 5-year extension on their contract, only for 5 years. Anything less, we have to renegotiate. So time will tell. We'll see where we're at in March. But, you know, I still remain confident that we'll have baseball in New Britain no matter what happens. I still am willing to work with the ownership of the Rockcats organizations. If they want improvements to the stadium, you name it, I'm always willing to listen, and they know that.
I want to know if you feel like there have been a lot of challenges, number one, because of your age, and number two, because you're a woman. You know, we had the alderman, Michael Truworthy, burst into your office, and then we had other things like the Instagram photo that people gave you flack about.
Sure.
You had a scarf that was an American flag, so
All
you
right,
posted
there it
on
is.
your social media.
Such a bad hair day, you know?
Well, I mean, but it is just a scarf. So, you know, do you feel like there's been difficulties for you?
Certainly. You know, you're held to a higher standard, and I completely understand that, but you are under a microscope. You know, I was 26 years old when I got elected, 27 now. But people look at you and they watch every little thing that you do. And, you know, I didn't think anything wrong about posting that picture. It was the 4th of July. Someone took it as a candid shot. Hey, I liked the scarf. I still enjoy it. I got it on Groupon, a good deal. But, you know, you're right. People do look at me, and they take it for granted. They don't think that I'm capable of doing the job. People are very judgmental. I've had some crazy things said to me in the last 10 months, and certainly my skin has become very, very thick, thicker than it was before.
You have to show them every day what you're made of, don't
You got it.
Thank you, Erin Stewart, for being with us here.
Erin,
Mayor of New
thank
Britain.
you. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me.